What's going on, y'all? This is Best Blurred, and today we are going to talk about Saga. Now, before we even get this review of Chapter 55 started, I need to gush about Saga. For those of you who don't know, the YouTube profile picture that I have that looks really ugly is me doing this with the first volume of Saga. I'm doing this. And the reason why I'm doing that is because this is the first comic book that I've ever physically bought with my own money in my life, because the story was that amazing. It really took me down this path of, getting into comic books and becoming a nerd, at least in that fashion. And it has stayed consistent. When it comes to comic books, if you guys don't know, there's the big three, right? There's Marvel, there's DC, and then there's Image Comics. Now, when it comes to Image Comics, their big three is The Walking Dead, which everybody knows from the TV show, Invincible, which blew up this year because its cartoon just came out, and then there is Saga, okay? So this is definitely not an underground find, but I find that a lot of people still don't know about it because it's not Marvel, right? It's not Batman or Superman, it's not DC. But this is definitely one of the best comic books ever written. So again, if you guys are just coming here to see, oh, this is a comic book review, let me see if there's a comic book, I might want to get into comic books, start here. For me, this is a perfect volume of a comic book because you don't need to know anything to get into it, and anyone can get into this comic book. It has its own little arc, it's self-contained, it's just beautifully written, it's beautifully drawn. What's amazing about Saga is that this is the first omnibus of Saga. It is also a perfect comic book. You can read this from start to finish, and from start to finish, it is a 10 out of 10. There's no time when you're waiting and reading just to get through the rest of the story. This story is amazing. So if you just randomly clicked on this video to see, hey, I'm wondering what this is about, I'm wondering if this is something that I should get into, I 1000% recommend it. Now, Saga is a long-running, self-contained, consistent story. It is one story from start to finish. It has been going on for 10 years, but over the last 3 years, it's been in hiatus. But it finally has come out with a new chapter, Chapter 55. Also, I want to let you guys know that this is going to be a spoiler-filled love letter. So if you just want to hear the rating, skip to this time here, because I will be talking about all the plot points, events, what it means for the rest of the story, etc. And so you guys are going to ask me, what about that cliffhanger? At the end of chapter 54, Marco was stabbed in the chest, and we've been waiting for 3 years to see if he lives or not. Now, I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Marco is first. I'm going to need you guys to subscribe and share this video with as many people as possible, because I really want to share something special with you guys. I am going to a sci-fi convention in February that you have not heard of. I'm telling you for a fact you have not heard of this, because I had never fucking heard of this fest right now, okay? This is going to be amazing, and I want to share it with you all, but I can't do live videos until I get over 100 subscribers. So subscribe if you're interested in what we're talking about today, because the video that I post next is going to be amazing, and I want you to see the full experience. I don't want it to just be clips here and there. I want you to experience this with me, okay? So subscribe, share, and let's get back to the video. All right, let's start with a story recap. So we start the story off with Hazel, our main character, who's attempting to outrun someone who's claiming that she stole from him. She's stopped by the landfall police and is almost captured, but a Wreath suicide bomber allows her to get away. Next, we see Alana, and she's caught in commotion while trying to sell baby formula on the street. The police come after her as well for a lack of a license to sell goods, but they're called away to handle the suicide bombing. As usual, things get a little too hot, so they have to blast off in their, and I cannot say this slowly enough, sentient spaceship tree. It was an amazing concept when they thought of it, and it's still the most unique thing I've ever heard of in my life, okay? Anyway, as they're flying off in the middle of space, all the alarms start blaring because there's a pirate spaceship trying to catch up with them. Now, how do we know it's a pirate spaceship? The spaceship, which is 50 times bigger than their massive tree spaceship, is in the form of a skull and crossbones. And if Saga tradition holds, it's not just because they painted it to look like a skull. It is the skull of an entity that was turned into a spaceship. This story is so unique. Anyway, As they are trying to outrun the spaceship, we get caught with another plot hole to end off chapter 55, and that's that Alana is not selling baby formula. That would have been weird and out of nowhere and out of context, and it wouldn't have made any sense. Baby formula is slang for drugs. Now, if you've been keeping up with the story, you know that Alana has had a lot of issues with substance abuse. And if we're being totally honest, I did not like that plot point. I thought it was out of nowhere. I thought it really dragged down the pace of the story and it didn't really pay off to be much that I really cared about. However, if they're gonna turn them into drug dealers, that now turns that phase of the story that I didn't like into a phase of the story that's a core concept and can't be ignored, right? So I just thought that was a really great way to incorporate the only real flaw in the entire storyline. Again, let's go ahead and keep moving things forward. Now, the main thing that I love about this chapter, but also really my main critique, is that this chapter pretty much copies chapter 1 of Saga. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you some slides of the chapter, the pages from chapter 1 along with pages from chapter 55, so that you can see sort of the side-by-side comparison so you can understand what I'm talking about here. Now, while this does annoy me, I can look past it because, like I said, Brian K. Vaughan confirmed that Chapter 55 is halfway through the storyline of Saga, so a little bit of symmetry at a pivotal moment like this, it definitely goes a long way, and I can also understand why, after 3 years, you're gonna want to fall back on something that's familiar, while also making it clear that we're not just printing the money machine. We're not just giving you the same thing. We're just reminding you of what it is that you love. Okay. So if you're into Saga, but you don't know if this is going to be the same, let me let you know right now. It is going to be the same story that you know and love. Okay. So let's review this thing. Does it hold up to expectation and anticipation after all this time? Absolutely. Absolutely. I swear to you, once you start reading this chapter, you will forget that there ever was a hiatus. It's almost like the story sucks you back into the universe like Jumanji 2, all right? We're older now, but we're still, we're getting right back in there. Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples are still in their prime, and it shows. The artwork, the writing, the interweaving storylines, the plot twists, it's all there, and you know what that means. The saga continues.
There's certain things in life that you can stop, and there's certain things in life that can't be stopped. Let's go.